Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week we try to talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
You gather all of your documents. I mean, your W-2s, 1099s, charity donations.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. Do you ever wonder how much planning and pressure and storytelling goes into what happens inside a WWE ring? Season 2 of WWE Unreal pulls back the curtains even more, taking fans behind the scenes on the road to SummerSlam. Joining us today is Lyra Valkyrie, one of the superstars featured this season, giving fans a closer look at what it really takes to bring those moments alive. Welcome to the show, Lyra. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Season 2 is diving deeper into the writer's room and the build towards SummerSlam. When you watched it back, what surprised you most about seeing that process on screen?
I can't watch it back because it was a very kind of hard moment for me that got captured on Unreal. So it's very strange that the whole world is seeing it, but this is what people want to see. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Fans usually see the finished performance. What does WWE Unreal reveal about the preparation and collaboration that people may not realize happens before a match?
I think it definitely reveals the pressure and the chaos that goes on behind the scenes because it's live TV, you know, so everything obviously looks great. And we just pop up and look our best on Raw and SmackDown. But I think it's showing a very kind of gritty, real side of the people on the show and what we go through every single week. So I guess that's really cool that people get to see that and just understand the chaos behind it all.
And this season features so many big personalities and storylines. As a superstar, what's it like balancing your own journey while everything else around you is constantly evolving?
Oh, it's like hard. That's one of the struggles, is like trying to keep your whole life together while performing at your best. So it's definitely hard, and I think Unreal really showcases that what it is we go through. So yeah, it can be tough, but it's also like the most rewarding thing in the world, and it's so addictive, and the adrenaline, like you can't even describe it. I don't know if any other job or like sport or anything, I don't know if anything is comparable to what we do. So it's cool that like people get to understand that a little bit more watching the show.
And the show, it captures a lot of high pressure moments. How do you personally stay grounded when the stakes are that high pretty much week after week?
I think there's like, my way of staying grounded is as long as I know that I'm putting the work in behind the scenes, that I'm doing everything I possibly can. That's when I know, like, okay, I'm gonna do my best here. And if I don't, then like what can I do? That's just where I'm at. Like I have to, if I'm doing the work behind the scenes, then I'm gonna be proud of what I'm doing.
And for longtime WWE fans and for people who may be new to this world, what do you think they'll appreciate most about season 2 of WWE Unreal?
I think people will appreciate the fact that this is the first time ever that this show is pulling back the curtain so much. You know, it's something that's been protected for years. And there's still people that, like, I'm one of them, that I'm not sure how much we like that, but there's a big demand for it. So I think people who have wanted that, like lifelong fans who have wanted to see what it's like behind the scenes, I think that's what, like, this is their chance to actually get to see that.
All right, I want to thank you for joining me today. WWE Unreal Season 2 is streaming now on Netflix, taking fans behind the scenes all the way to SummerSlam. Lyra, thanks for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me.
Have you noticed how often books are subtly just being pulled from school shelves? You know, sometimes quietly, sometimes overnight. And across the country, librarians are finding themselves on the front lines of a much bigger cultural fight. There's a new documentary, The Librarians, that takes a close look at what's driving these bans and the real people caught in the middle. So joining us today are Oscar-nominated director Kim Snyder and high school librarian Julie Miller, whose life changed after she questioned why dozens of books were being removed from her school. So welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Kim, when you started working on The Librarians, what surprised you most about how widespread and coordinated those book challenges have actually become?
Well, it was shocking back in 21 when we started this journey to even learn that criminalization was on the table for librarians doing what they have been trained to do, which is to protect our First Amendment rights and to provide us with representation and thriving libraries. So many things shocked me. And it was quite a journey, but I think really discovering along the way how organized and what was really underneath this, which was really not about the books themselves, but a much more organized and insidious movement with political agendas that are quite extreme.
And Julie, your story is incredibly personal. What's going on through your mind when you were first told these books had to just come off the shelves?
At first, it kind of seemed like this is absurd, really, to be doing this sort of thing. We've been celebrating Banned Books Week, or commemorating, I should say, maybe Banned Books Week for since I was born, I think, in America, to highlight the importance of intellectual freedom, access to information, and to shine a light on censorship and the dangers of it. Because censorship is deeply un-American. And so I think that when it first started, it just kind of seemed like, well, this is silly. This is not going to happen. We hadn't had a challenge in my district school system in over 20 years when we had our first one in 21. But this it's escalated beyond anyone's imagination. We're up to over 1,000 book challenges that have been filed in my school system. So it's been really insane, honestly.
And with these challenges, who does it affect the most?
Well, to me, it's the students. A lot of the books that are being challenged are more ones that are in the high schools. The people who are in favor of banning books like to present it as though books written for high schoolers are being given to kindergartners, which is obviously not the case. Beyond that, there is no pornography in school libraries. Yes, teens are going to come across heavy topics sometimes, but sometimes these are just simply books about the history of racism in our country, or books that deal with marginalized groups. One of the librarians in our film, Amanda Jones, talks about how she knows of at least 12 students, former students of hers, who have committed suicide because they were so ostracized in their community for being LGBTQ+. So these are the people who are being affected most by this, are the students whose identities are being erased by having books taken off the shelves. When I see books being challenged that are about just the experience of being Black in America being removed from shelves, it's horrific, because I see students being removed from history.
And the documentary is showing how librarians are becoming the unexpected advocates and, in some cases, targets. What kind of pressure are they facing right now?
Well, in the documentary, it's shocking. There are, as Julie said, hundreds. We weren't able to show hundreds, but Julie is joined by a large swath of librarians who are under siege, I would say, across the country. And I would say that when you say who is affected, it's every single one of us whose rights are being threatened, because it has not ended in the school libraries. It's permeated the museums and the universities. So we are, as one anonymous librarian says at the end, this is now everyone's story.
And do you have a quick tip for some of the viewers watching this and wondering what they could do?
We're really advocating. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just saying that getting involved locally is really important. That's where these things are happening. These are not federal decisions that are being made. A lot of times it is your local school board or even your local public library boards where the banning and censorship is happening. So get involved in your community. There are lots of grassroots organizations and parent groups that are speaking up against this. if you're not ready to run for school board, you can certainly, of course, vote. You can get informed. You can write letters to the editor. You can make phone calls. Anything that you can do, even reaching out to, if you're a parent, reaching out to your school, your children's school's librarian, if they have one, and just let them know that you're there for them, that if they're ever encountering issues with censorship, give them your name and number as someone they can reach out to so that you can try to connect them with others in the community who will stand up with them.
Julie, Kim, I want to thank you too for joining me today. The Librarians premieres Monday, February 9th on PBS's Independent Lens and will also be available to stream on the PBS app. It's a powerful, eye-opening watch and one that really gets you thinking about what's really at stake. I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have you ever wondered what it really takes to send technology to the moon and then make it work once it's there? There's a new documentary called Drive Me to the Moon. It takes viewers behind the scenes of a groundbreaking lunar mission and the collaboration that made it possible. So joining us today is Fabiana Neves, Vice President of Castrol Americas, to talk about the film and why this moment matters for the future of space exploration. Welcome to the show, Fabiana. How are you?
Thank you for having me. All good here today. Thank you.
All right, for our viewers just hearing about it, what is Drive Me to the Moon and what story does the documentary tell?
Drive Me to the Moon is a documentary where you will see everything behind the scenes on what it takes to be in the moon, from the concept to design, to collaboration, to bringing innovation, technology, and all steps towards making sure, hey, we are in the moon again.
And the movie follows the Lunar Voyage 1 mission from early testing to touchdown on the moon. What do you think will surprise people most when they watch it?
Well, the first one is making sure that the collaboration with the private sector and how new innovation has evolved and made it possible for the first time ever be in the lunar South Pole. So that's a pioneer opportunity never done before. And you can see firsthand, right, so on the documentary.
Mission control is also a big part of the story. What makes this operation so unique compared to past lunar missions?
Mission control is the brain behind the machines and truly what monitors, give control, as well as receive the data and insights of everything that is happening from the moment of the launch until the machine is in there, right? So is the brain, is the women behind everything that happens, right? So the ability to monitor, to receive the images, the data, the insights, and then turn this into actions that we can learn and evolve further is definitely the heart and the brain behind everything happening there.
And Castrol has been involved in space exploration for decades. How did that experience shape their role in this mission and making of this film?
For over 7 decades, we have been partnering with NASA since the Apollo mission, worked with the Mars missions, with the rovers, the Opportunity, the Curiosity, the Perseverance rovers, and our technology have evolved and enabled these missions to be successful. Now partnering with Lunar Outpost and the private sector to making sure that we do evolve, that we bring the technology, and our lubricants enable those missions to be successful is critical, has been critical for Castrol. We are really, really proud of being partnering and working and evolving with the space industry.
With renewed excitement around lunar exploration right now, how does this mission help set the stage for what's coming next?
Yeah, great question. We are definitely keen to support the goal of finding a sustainable way of having human presence in the moon. This mission was a first step towards that goal. So we are keen to continue partnering and making sure that, hey, we can make this a reality and there is a sustainable way for having human presence in the moon.
So where can our viewers go check out Drive Me to the Moon and maybe get more information?
You can go to our website, castrol.com/drive-me-to-the-moon, and also you can find us on YouTube.
Fabiana Neves, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
There's something powerful about a song that feels real, like it was pulled straight out of someone's life. Country artist Harper Grace has a new single called If Daddy Says No, and it's all about that push and pull between following your heart and honoring where you came from. She's a Texas native with more than 17 million career streams and national TV appearances under her belt, and now she's stepping into country radio in a very big way. Harper Grace, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm so wonderful. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We're doing good over here. We were listening, and that song just feels really personal. What was happening in your life when you wrote If Daddy Says No?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was in a relationship that I thought I was so in love and I was ready to run away, get married, and do all the things. But thank the Lord, because my dad said no. So this is a very, very true, very personal story. And at the time I wrote this song, I was really stuck in between what the right decision was. I grew up in Texas. I have been so close with my dad ever since I was little. We went to father-daughter camps together, and I've always, always respected his opinion and what he thought of really anything. And at this time, I was in a relationship that did not honor me very well at all, as well as didn't honor my dad or my family. And so that really, really ate me up on the inside, which is what inspired If Daddy Says No. And it was a scary thing to write, and it's been a scary thing to talk about, but I'll tell you, the listeners of getting the opportunity of playing this song live have really been the thing for me to be encouraged to actually share this point of my life, because after I've played it live, I've heard so many different people's story of whether their dad actually did say no, and it was, a really bad relationship and they are no longer together and went through a divorce or whatever it may be, or their dad said no and they actually didn't end up getting married, or their dad didn't, chime in and they wish they did, or their dad did say no and they're living happily ever after. So there's so many different outcomes. And when I wrote If Daddy Says No, the lyrics don't have a resolution in the song, so that the listener is able to piece together what it is that their story might be in the midst of the lyrics. And so for me, my resolution was, my dad did say no, not to love, but to remind me that true love is worth waiting for, and finding somebody that really, really honors and respects you as a human being, as well as your family and what matters most to you. Is important.
And you've already had some huge milestones, national TV performances, 17 million streams, even a Netflix sync. How does this single feel different as your first one going into country radio?
Honestly, it feels like I ripped a piece out of my heart and put it on paper and then passed it out to a bunch of people. And I think that that's the beauty in it. I think that I always have fun writing music. I always enjoy telling, fun stories with Take It to the Grave, Getaway, that's in the Netflix movie. But this song was so personal and so vulnerable. And I just wanted that to set the tone for this year, especially coming out with new music towards the end of the year as well. This is kind of this waterfall trickling in on an album, hopefully soon, and the album would be called Dear Heart. So these are really pages just ripped out of my heart of areas of my life that people don't quite know about, that I'm ready to share because of having the opportunity of playing them live for a couple years now, and knowing that so many other people have also walked through these situations and these experiences in much different ways. But yeah, it does feel different because it feels vulnerable.
All right, here's a question I like to ask artists and people that are creators. Who is an inspiration for you that is outside of the type of, that is not a musician or somebody like that, like a country singer, that is outside doing their own art? Who is in another form of art is an inspiration to you that you use in your own world and building creativity?
In another form of art, I think I spend a lot of time listening to music, so that is definitely something that in the most artistic thing has drawn me. But I do listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of preachers. And I think that that's a whole nother art, is bringing scripture to life and talking about it. Jensen Franklin is someone that I really look up to. Jonathan Pokluda is someone that I look up to. Sadie Robertson. There's this wonderful podcast called Girls Gone Bible. I listen to that a lot. So I think maybe that's another piece of art in my personal opinion that I really draw a lot of inspiration from.
And for people discovering you for the first time, how would you describe your sound, and what would you want them to feel when they actually hear this track?
I would describe it, my sound in general would be a soulful country with a little bit of classic added to it. I would hope that when people hear If Daddy Says No, that they could do some, maybe some searching of what that personal piece is that is attached to that song, and know that there's ways to get it out and talk about it, and music is a wonderful way to piece personal bits of your own life, whether that's If Daddy Says No or your favorite artist. But yeah.
Harper Grace, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. You can check out Harper Grace's new single, If Daddy Says No, when it hits streaming platforms February 27th. And to learn more, you can follow her journey. Visit harpergracexo.com and find her on social media. Harper, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful time. Top tier, 10 out of 10.
Well, thank you. For a lot of people with rare diseases, the hardest part isn't just the symptoms, it's feeling misunderstood. February is Rare Disease Month, and today we're talking about systemic mastocytosis, a rare chronic condition that can cause unpredictable symptoms that often takes years to diagnose. Vanessa Hein lives with systemic mastocytosis, and she partners with an artist, Emma Lyons, through Colors of SM program to turn her experience into art. Vanessa, Emma, it's good to have you here today. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, Vanessa, you've lived with symptoms for years before getting answers. What was that journey like for you?
It was long. It was over 10 years. Lots of random symptoms. I would have reactions to food. I would get hives. I would have bone pain, which I didn't really understand. Fatigue, chemical smells were a huge issue for me. And then I got a rash, and that covered most of my body, which led me to pursue more instead of just being told it's vitamin deficiencies. And a lot of it was put off as other things. And so after several bone marrow biopsy and skin biopsies, I finally received my diagnosis.
So what drew you to the Colors of SM program, and what did that experience mean to you personally?
Well, I found the Colors of SM just doing a search shortly after I got my diagnosis is when the program had opened. So it popped up as soon as I put systemic mastocytosis into the search. That's what I found. And I was hiding a lot of my symptoms from my family, and I just really wasn't accepting, like, this is what I have. So I thought maybe I need to put myself out there. I need to talk about it. That will help me to accept it so that I can share it with my family. So I applied for the program. And then I was paired with Emma, and we worked together over 6 months, just talking out loud, saying my struggles, just learning to accept it.
So when you look back now, what advice would you give to somebody who's newly diagnosed or still searching for answers?
I would say the biggest thing is to listen to your own body. I mean, I can't stress that enough. You have to learn your own symptoms and find your own triggers, and then to find a doctor who understands it and is willing to help you.
All right, Emma, when you first learned about systemic mastocytosis, what stood out to you?
What surprised me the most was the wide range of symptoms that Vanessa dealt with every single day and how unpredictable the triggers were. So watching over our 6-month program every single day what she went through made me realize how strong she was in order to overcome all of her challenges. And so it inspired me so much. And I really wanted to make sure that I can inspire other people with my art the way that she inspired me.
And artist to artist, how do you approach telling someone, somebody else's like very personal story through your own creative lens?
Of course. What stood out to me about her story was how complex it was and how full of layers. So I really wanted to utilize those layers. My painting, Look Deeper, is an invitation to do just that. And so the base layer, the very first one, is her favorite color and represents who she is as a person at her core. And the following layers were the SM chaos that happened in her life. And the final layer, the grand finale, is the peace that she now has after learning how to advocate for herself and her own needs.
And for some of the viewers who want to see the artwork, maybe learn more about the program, where should they go?
Absolutely. Go to colorsofsm.com. You can learn more about both the disease and the program and apply to participate. We've been so honored to be working with Blueprint Medicines in order to raise awareness of SM.
Vanessa, Emma, I really want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Does it feel like tax season always shows up faster than expected? February is actually a smart time to pause, look at your spending, and get organized before things feel rushed. So joining us today is Carlos Armando Garcia, founder and CEO of Fin Habits and a personal finance expert with practical ways families can make this a frugal February. Welcome to the show, Carlos. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so why is February such a smart time to start gathering tax documents and getting pretty much everything in one place?
Well, this is the perfect time to start getting organized. You don't want to wait until the last minute. And what I suggest is that you gather all your documents. I mean, your W-2s, 1099s, charity donations, brokerage statements, and put them all in one folder. Even better, you can digitalize this process by creating an online folder where you can scan or take a picture of all these documents and just put them up there in the folder. What I usually like to do is work on this process during the month of February so that then I can share that folder on March 15 with my tax accountant.
And you call this Frugal February. So what are 4 steps families should focus on right now to get their finances in shape?
Well, we're starting 2026, and this is the right time to get your finances in order. So I have 4 things that you should be doing now. Number 1, you should prioritize paying your high-interest debt. And what I mean by that is the credit card bills. Focus on paying those credit card bills as soon as possible. The second thing you can do is automate your bill payments. In many cases, companies even give you a discount if you set those payments in automatic. So why not? The third thing you can do is look very carefully at your investments and your retirement savings. You haven't started yet. This is the right time to start saving for retirement. This is your future asset. You need to take care of that now. And then the last thing you can do is look up many ways you can save money. And what I mean by that is you probably have different things that you use on a monthly basis. You have wireless bills, you have streaming services. Well, why don't you combine all those and save money? There are companies that allow you to save money by combining wireless, streaming service, and satellite coverage all in one.
And one place people may not think to look is their phone bill. Can you tell us about T-Mobile's Better Value Plan and how it's positioned to help families save?
The Better Value Plan is the new family plan by T-Mobile, and you can save more than $1,000 by combining your phone bill with your streaming and your satellite connectivity, all in one place. Now, this plan starts at $140, but it's a family plan, so it includes 3 lines for your family members. And here's the best part. You can lock in that monthly cost for the next 5 years, so you don't have to worry about price hikes or inflation.
So when families are comparing carrier plans, what factors really matter so they don't end up overpaying?
Well, there are a few things that you need to take care of. First, you need to make sure that the plan has a strong coverage. And in this case, T-Mobile has the best coverage across the nation. The second thing you want to do is you have a family. Well, why don't you have different family members in the same plan? And then finally, you can save money by combining multiple bills in one. And what I mean by that is you can get your wireless, your streaming, and your satellite connectivity all in one plan.
All right, so where can our viewers go for more information?
You can go to tmobile.com and learn more about the Better Value Plan. All the information is there. You can get started and save money today.
Carlos Armando Garcia, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in to Rise Unwind. If you want to be part of the show, just go to our website, riseunwindtv.com, fill out the form, send it in. Maybe you could be on a future episode. We're on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Plus, you can find our YouTube channel at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was the show we like to call Rise and Unwind.